are the rules for division. Those are kind of like shortcuts as well. Okay, so I would refer to that anytime we're working with division. It's just going to help you out. All right, now on to the first page of the vocab here, of the packet. We're going to start with vocabulary. Okay, so like I was saying, we put some new words on the word wall earlier. The first one, okay, is dividend. Dividend is the number that's being divided. That's the big number. Okay, dividend is the one that's being divided by the other number so we can find the quotient. The divisor, okay, that's the one that's being divided by. Okay, that's the one you're using to divide the other number. So the example would be 63 divided by 5. 63 would be your dividend. Okay, 5 would be the divisor. Quotient, like we said, was the answer to the division problem. So in this case, it would be 12. And then we will talk about remainders a little bit in 6th grade, not very much because we get into decimals. But there is still time to talk about remainders. Remainders are just the number that's left over after you divide all the numbers out. Okay, that's what's left over. It's not turned into a decimal or anything like that. So in this case, 63 divided by 5 equals 12 with a remainder of 3. Okay, that's it. That's how we work with division. Those are the vocab terms. You're going to see these a lot. We're going to talk about these a lot. So that would be something to remember. Now, down here where it says 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, identify terms. So we're going to start with number 1 here. So we have 49 divided by 6 equals 8 with the remainder of 1. What is the dividend? Now remember the number that's being divided. What's the dividend here, Dakota? 49. What would be the divisor, James? 6. And what would be the quotient? Mackenzie? 8. Good. Okay, so we're just identifying them right now. We're not going to do anything else. We're just identifying them. So number 2, 57 divided by 10 equals 5 with the remainder of 7. What's the remainder? 7. What's the dividend? 57. That's the number being divided. And now the divisor, the one we're dividing by, is what? 10. Okay, we're going to jump down to number 5 now. Jump down to number 5. So now it says identify the term that represents the identified number in the problem below. So in the problem, 20 divided by 6 equals 3 with the remainder of 2. The number 3 is the what? The quotient. So all you're doing is just identifying them just one at a time in those problems. So what you guys are going to do now on your own, if you get stuck, talk to the person next to you. Mackenzie, I'll just have you turn around and talk to James. Okay, so just talk to the person next to you if you get stuck. So what you're going to do is you're doing 3, 4, 6, 7, and 8. So go ahead and get to work on that. I'll give you some time, then we'll move on. All right, so number 3, we have 38 divided by 11 equals 3 with the remainder of 5. What would be the quotient there? Marley? 3. Divisor? James, what would be the divisor?
The divisor is 11.
11. And the remainder would be? 5. Okay, so the divisor is 11. Remember, the one that's dividing is the divisor. And number 4, so we have 62 divided by 9 equals 6 with the remainder of 8. So what's the divisor? 9. Quotient? 6. And dividend? 62. 62. All right, so down at the bottom there, they just wanted you to work with the one problem they were talking about. So in this case, it was the 85. So what's the 85 here? The dividend. That's the one that's being divided. So that's the dividend. All right, now what about the 7? That would be the remainder. And what about the 8? That would be the divisor. It's the one that's dividing out. Okay, any questions on that page?
No.
All right, let's go ahead and go on to the next one. So now it says page 3 down at the bottom. It's fine. We're jumping to page 3. There was a page 2. I cut it out. Okay, I just wanted to talk about these down here. Write a fact family for each set of numbers. What that means. Okay, a lot of these numbers work together a lot. That's like a multiplication chart. That's why I give them to you. So fact families would be 3 times 9 equals what? 27. 9 times 3 equals 27. Now you have to switch it around and start doing division. Yes. So 27 divided by 9 equals 3. 27 divided by 3 equals 9. Yes.
I told my dad last night, he didn't really believe me, but I said that division is kind of like subtraction because you have the same thing, and in subtraction, like 5 minus 5 would equal 10. Well, 5 plus 5 would equal 10. So if you subtract that, then 10 minus 5 equals 10.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so why don't you guys go ahead and try to do, or let's just do number 10 together. So now we have 4, 10, and 40. So first one would be what? What could one be?
4 times 10 equals 40.
4 times 10 equals 40. What's another one?
10,
James?
10 times 4 equals 40.
Exactly. 10 times 4 equals 40. What else?
40 divided by 10 equals
40 divided by 10 equals 4. So the last one would be 40 divided by 4 equals 10. So down here, number 12, it says divide and write the related multiplication fact. So what's 54 divided by 9? Use a multiplication chart if you need it. 54 divided by 9 would be 6. So that means 6 times 9 equals 54. A 13, 25 divided by 5. 5. So that means 5 times 5 equals 25. So multiplication and division go hand in hand because it's just basically a pattern over and over and over again. You're just using the same facts over and over again. It's the same as multiplication, division's the same way. So that's dividend, divisor, remainder, and quotient. Now we're going to actually start dividing on page 4. So just like multiplication, there are shortcuts when there's multiples of 10. So the ones that end with 0. So whenever you have a number that ends with 0, it's actually a shortcut. It makes things a little bit easier. So up here at the top, it says 320 divided by 4. So they say think 320 is like 32 tenths. What that means is we're going to look at that number in the front, 32. Okay, what is 32 divided by 4? James? Huh?
80.
No, just 32. What's 32 divided by 4?
8.
8. Okay, that's when you look at how many zeros are afterwards, and that's when you add them. So how many zeros are there? 1. So it's just 80. Okay, so it's just like the multiplication shortcut. All right? You multiply the beginning numbers, and then you add the zeros. Now we're doing division, so we divide the beginning numbers, then add the zeros. So this one is 4,200 divided by 6. So we're going to do 42 divided by 6, which is 7. And how many zeros do we have? 2. So it'd be 700. All right, let's look at number 2 now. Actually, number 1 first. Number 1. So 250 divided by 5. So you look at the first two numbers there. Since it has a 0 at the end, what's 25 divided by 5? 5. How many zeros do we have?
1.
So our answer would be 50.
So like in division, we would do like the, it's like on number 2, it'd be like 18.
Well, we're going to do number 2. So,
That would be 6 times 18.
no. So, for that to be multiplication, we're doing division. So, 1,800 divided by 6.
3.
Okay, so we do 18 divided by 6, which is 3. How many zeros do we add on? 2. 300. Okay, so you're just doing division of the first two numbers. As long, this only works is if that has a 0 at the end. It has to end with 0. This only works with the shortcut if you have the 0. Okay, so go ahead and try to do 3, 6, 9, and 12. 3, 6, 9, 12. So, 630 divided by 9. So we're looking at 63. So what's 63 divided by 9? 7. So how many zeros do we have? 70. Okay, now 56 divided by 7. 8. How many zeros? 2. 800. Okay, number 9. 1,200 divided by 2. So we're going to do 12 divided by 2. 6. Add our 2 zeros. And the last one is 45 divided by 5. So you get 9. Add a 0. 90. Okay, your homework for tonight, if it's not due until Sunday, is IXL 6th grade, Section C, 1 and 2. So that is due on Sunday. So you still have 10 Alex topics, 3 green lights, and now this IXL C1, C2. C1 is all about this type of stuff. You're identifying if it's divisible by 2, 3, 5, 10, whatever. 6C2 is all about this right here. Okay, so you have until Sunday to get those done.